you get people to sign a non-disclosure agreement, a very basic one, that basically says, here are the company secrets, here's what we're going to talk about, and for 1 year you're not allowed to talk to anyone about this, or I'm going to sue you, own your home, whatever, right? And then you get them to sign, so you basically get them to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and then maybe like a 1-page, that's it, just write out, John Doe will own 5% of company X, CEO and founder, signed, date, that's it. And the other thing is, you don't want to give, the other way to structure the equity is you don't give it up front. You have to earn it. It's very common. So if you go to someone and say, I'll give you 10% of my company if you help me for the next 6 months, okay, or until we get funding, and then I'll pay you, right? You write all this down in the contract. Now, if they sign this agreement, that doesn't mean they can quit next week and keep 10%. You have to structure it where you say, okay, if you leave me before the first 1 year, you get nothing. You have to stay at least 1 year to get half of it. And you stay another year to get another 2% every year until you get the full 10%. So that's called vesting. So that's called equity vesting. It's very common. It's a basic practice. I would encourage all of you to Google it. You can create your own vesting schedules, however you want to pitch it. But just Google vesting, stock vesting schedule. But it's very common, so I'll tell you what's common for us and what my employees do. They're on a 4-year vesting schedule. So they're incentivized to stay long term. So over a 4-year period, so if I give someone, and we're talking, for early partners, you'll probably give away about 5 to 10% per partner, or maybe for the first 3 or 4. And then you'll give away 1% to 2% to every employee, and then you'll give away maybe 0.25%, right? That's how you have to think about it. But let's say someone owns 5 or 10%, my first partner, I say, here, you're going to be my CTO, my Chief Technology Officer, I'm going to give you 10% of my company, right? Well, the first year, they'll vest 25%. So it's a 4-year vesting schedule, so every year they'll earn 25% of that 10% stock. So year 1 is 2.5%, year 2 is 2.5%, 3 is 2.5%, and year 4 is 2.5%, over 4 years, 10%. So in year 1, they have to stay the whole year to get 2.5%. In year 2, starting in year 2, every month they stay, they get, whatever, 12 divided by 2.5% is, right? They get 0.2% every month at that point. So every month they stay, they get. So they're incentivized to stay at least 1 year, and after that, it's every month. That's how these typically are structured in the U.S. It's typically a 4-year schedule over there, just to give you an idea of how it works. It's called a 4-year vesting schedule with a 1-year cliff, right? So if you don't get over that 1-year cliff, if you leave on day 364, you get nothing. You have to stay at least 1 full year, and then however long you stay, you can remain with it. Does that answer your question?
Yes. I'm actually saying that as a complication, which perhaps for Nick's benefit, the Hypercube would actually try to figure that out, how to do it from the legal perspective, how you do the investing of equity for small time players who want to grow up, vis-a-vis the issue of corporate law in this country.
I don't know how the corporate law is in this country, which is why you're talking about it. But vesting schedules are very common. They're 1-page agreements, 2-page agreements in the U.S. So you might want to talk to an attorney here and see how the law is structured to provide that. You might be able to do that with a partnership agreement here, with someone, and just write it out in detail. Because a partnership agreement is whatever 2 people agree to. Just do that, Don't even get a lawyer, just write everything down though. Do not start a business without writing it down. Okay, so why don't we do something a little different now? And these are a great question. I'm sure you guys have a lot more. Do you want to take a break, or do you want to keep going? What do you guys want to do?
Tea break at some point.
I don't think they're here yet, but why don't we take a little bit longer? Why don't we do this? Does anyone here have a specific question about their business that they want to share that we can all talk about, that I can collaborate on and so forth? Why don't we do that? Anyone have a very specific question about their project or business? Yes?
Yes, yeah, music historians, because most of you guys are actually tech and music startups. Here's my perspective towards the student collaborations, particularly among small teams.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Okay, so I have a few basic assumptions. The first assumption is that during the time you're working, from the time you start your idea up until you start up actually a business, viable business that is making a lot of money, you have more people external to your team that are collaborating, contributing to things than you have the size of the team. Is that true? It's something that, okay, that you have more people external that you're working with that are contributors to your projects or to your business than the actual size of your team, like the people, number of employees or people who are working for your company.
Can you give an example, maybe?
Okay, I'll give an example. When I was to set up South Africa, we set up the company. There were 5 of us. Now, during the time we were supposed to set up a company, build a product, set up a company, get clients, and actually have a viable business by the time we go to Cape Town, 5 days. We collaborated with people from UNICEF. They were giving us a lot of statistics, information about landscape, about things that we had 2 mentors that we were working closely with. They were involved in some of our discussions, like coming up with ideas and structuring our business. Then we had about 6 NGOs that we thought were potential market for us.
So not necessarily your core team, but people that are just advising and helping in general?
Yes.
Okay. So what's your question around that?
So my first question is that the basic assumption that I'm working with in developing this product is that that is the state of things, that you have more people that are external to your business that are contributors to your business than the actual size of the team, the core team. So first question is that, is my basic assumption valid? Is that true in the business that you work?
So I guess he's asking you all as entrepreneurs, is that true for you? Do you have people outside of your core business helping you that aren't necessarily owners of your business or employees?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's okay if it's not, just tell them.
It's true. Again.
It depends on the nature of business, I think.
Yeah, okay, I would like to, I would more better appreciate
The reason why it's like that.
yes, and actual responses that are to do with your case, not to do with your insight or knowledge of other people's businesses, but to do with your own businesses. Is that true with your businesses?
Is that true and why?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's what he's trying to say.
Yes, please.
Okay, well, I think from what you're saying, I have a similar situation with my business where, because I'm not in tech business, but what you're saying is a similar situation which I face, where you'll find as a startup, it comes back again to building your required staff around you, but also then at the same time it needs to make business sense financially to be able to support that. So for me, I use external advisors and maybe even service providers for the fact that it's a method for you to control your expenses as well as your overhead really of the business by having more external than internal. Because in some cases you may not need the services of all of those people Monday to Friday. In some cases you only need to work with someone maybe 2 or 3 times in a month. So you'll find that pool might actually be bigger than the people that you actually have as working as your core team. Yeah.
Yeah, and also in my case, you discover that external people are contributing so much, especially from the fact that you came out of college, you don't have relevant experience. So when you come up with something, the big people or I would call them the experienced people in the industry, they would also want a reference point to say, okay, you came from college, you don't have enough experience. Who did you work with to show that this thing is legitimate? So at the end of the day, there's a lot of people coming in who are external people doing the work as well.
Sorry to interrupt. Let me ask you all a quick question about the local community here. Do you guys have an organization of founders? Let's say you guys are all founders of your companies, right? Do you guys have any organization here locally where founders meet maybe once a month to discuss ideas and things like that? And startup community, do you have that? Yes or no? No. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to be a marketer just for a second, which is actually the work that I'm doing.
Okay.
But funny enough, you should raise that because about a year or 2 back, I actually had a setup like that. But obviously, because of the issues that we're facing financially, we had challenges in doing it, which was a young entrepreneur. We were saying we need to create forums like this where young business people come and we're basically each other's think tanks for our businesses and find ways of doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say that is
yeah.
something that benefited me tremendously. I'm part of an organization at home called Mindshare.
Yeah.
And Mindshare is basically an organization, it's invitation only.
Yes.
And they invite all the CEOs in technology in the Washington, D.C. region. And we get together once a month. You don't have to go. It's encouraged if you go. And for new members, every I'd say year for 3 months they have programming. So 1 month we focus on sales, 1 month we focus on marketing, technology. But I would encourage someone in this room to take that lead. Get a venue like this maybe. They'll let you have it for free maybe one night. I'm speaking out of turn. I can talk to Nigel for you or whoever we need to. But I think create an organization like that because it is really helpful because what you're going to learn here is this discussion we're starting. You could have it for hours and it's just helpful to talk. And also it's very encouraging. So someone take that role. I would encourage someone here to take that role and start Zimbabwe Mindshare maybe. And keep it small and let people come here. And what you'll learn is other people in the country will start to build like maybe Mindshare. Where are we going later this week? Right. And other communities will start just building it up. So it's tremendously helpful if someone wants to take that lead. It's free organization, by the way. Don't charge people for this. Hang out for an hour. That's it.
For us, you have to go to
So in terms of pitching, I think maybe they didn't market it well. I'm involved in an organization which is doing something similar to what you are saying.
Okay.
We have the World Economic Forum, they have what is called Global Shapers.
Okay.
So through the Global Shapers, they have what are called pitch nights, where young entrepreneurs, founders of companies, they will go and pitch their ideas. It's done every month at Celebration Center, and it's being spearheaded by the founder celebration.
Okay.
And also have the Zimbabwe Youth Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where I'm the vice chairperson. What basically we do is young entrepreneurs will team up together, we invite government officials, we also invite captains of industry, where they will come and each week now or each month we select 2 entrepreneurs, they will pitch their ideas, then they'll be given some others, perfect this area and do this and do this. That's how we do it.
That's great. What I'm talking about is a little different. I'll tell you how. So, one, I think the government organization is great, and maybe that's something you all can be involved in. But I like the idea of more free enterprise and not pitching necessarily, right? So what I'm talking about is not pitching, because I think when you tell people you have to come and pitch, they feel like they have to come prepared with something to talk about. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an organization where you can come and talk about anything. Brainstorm, exactly. Like, I had an employee who, I don't know, I'm making something up, who is an amazing employee, but he comes to work late every day and is dragging down the morale of the team. What do I do about it? It's a very specific, pragmatic question that other entrepreneurs may be able to help you with, right? Or I'm trying to figure out how I can reach teachers in rural districts, but I have no idea how to get to that. Maybe someone in the room has an idea about mobile connection. I don't know. But that's what I'm talking about. So it has nothing to do with pitching, more about the everyday problems you face as a CEO and founder that you can just discuss with your peers and someone else may have solved. That's what I'm talking about.
I think one of the major challenges, which I can say I noticed initially when we were doing this similar initiative was, I think it comes back to a culture aspect and a worry of, oh, the next person is going to, try and get onto my next big idea. So a challenge that we always face was, you can set something up and there's a great moment of silence. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Like, what is your challenge? Or what idea do you have that you're failing to really mold into something that's feasible? And I think it's basically being able to shift the mindset from saying, okay, if we're all entrepreneurs and we're sitting in one room, how best can we assist each other? Because at the end of the day, if I'm not a competitor to you, chances are we can actually work together. So you'll find that that's a major challenge that we would actually then realize, okay, how do we actually get people to get into a comfort zone and be able to use each other as think tanks and brainstorm and come up with ways of assisting each other's businesses?
That's a good point. We talk about that a lot on Saturday. Actually, it's collaboration and why that's important. And I'll reiterate that for some of the folks that weren't there. If you have people that are afraid of collaboration and discussing their ideas openly, and they're afraid their idea is going to get stolen, and someone else is going to do a better job, then they should, right? They don't deserve to run with that idea. I mean, it goes back to what we're saying about being competitive entrepreneurs. And I understand that I don't want to put people down in saying, don't be scared, just do it, right? I understand it's a cultural shift that needs to happen over time. But that also can't happen until a core group of people begin that movement. So if all of you in this room, for example, believe that it's okay to share everything, we're all talking about what we're doing, no one has a problem with it, right? Even if all of you are working on the same things, markets are massive. And competition is actually good for business. That's something you'll actually learn in an MBA course. Competition is very good for business because it creates market awareness, right? You think about macroeconomic trends. People who think that sharing ideas is bad, what I would encourage you to say is, look, it's not, if that is your biggest concern, you have a problem, right? Like you should be worried about getting a customer, you should be worried about building your product, you should be worried about surviving the business before you worry about competition. Competition is only for those worthy of enough to even have a business anyways, but I think it will take a long time, maybe, by long I mean maybe several years before that mindset changes. But it can't change until a core group of people openly talk about their ideas and openly even discuss it with competitors. I'm friends with my top 5 competitors at home, personal friends with the CEOs. We all know that we can buy each other, we can kill our businesses, we go to conferences together, we have dinner together, we hang out, we even share product visions together, and it's open competition. That is the beauty of the, I don't say American entrepreneurial landscape, but that kind of competition breeds a good marketplace.
Yeah. And refined products as well.
Everything. Yeah. Cheaper products for consumers, refined marketplace, and so forth. So if I'm you guys in this room, I think the best thing you can do is talk openly about your projects. Competitors, non-entrepreneurs, who cares? Your job is to beat them, So, yeah, and again, start that group. That group might help, and you'll see others pop up. It'll take some time. Be patient with it, it'll work. Anyways, anyone have another specific question about their business that they want to discuss? Yeah.
I don't know if it is specific question, but I think so. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to ask in relationship to what we were discussing given that our setup they are a bit different. Here in Zimbabwe, for example, to be a millionaire, especially if you are starting from scratch, one, access to capital funding or financing, is a bit difficult unless if you are coming from a rich background. And most of us young entrepreneurs, we start from scratch without any assistance from family. So given that background now, if I start a small company, then another idea, let's say another idea, is there anything wrong with me maybe running through with maybe 6 different projects? So that is because you can't be a millionaire, especially our population is almost 12 million, 13 million, and for you to be there, it means you need to reach other bigger markets like maybe Nigeria, Zambia, or in the Southern African community. But you are focusing in Zimbabwe now. It means if you are to have maybe 6 different projects, it will help you maybe to grow quick. That's what I think. Am I wrong, or is it the right approach?
I'm glad you brought up that question because I am highly, highly against people that focus on 4, 5, 6 different projects. I'm highly opposed to people that focus on 2 projects. It's very hard to start a business. If you have 2, 3, 4 businesses you're running or projects you're involved in, it is extremely difficult to be extremely successful at just one of them. Okay? If I'm you and you have 3, 4, 5 projects, I would try to figure out the one project that you're really passionate about or you feel like has a lot of legs. Focus on that one project for a long time. And if you want to expand that project, right, it's much better for you to expand one product in 10 different directions than it is for you to work on 10 little projects 10 different ways with 10 different teams. It's impractical. There are no examples that I can think of early entrepreneurs. I can't think of a single one that focused on 5 businesses and all 5 were big. No one I can think of that started 5 businesses. Now, you can own 100 businesses if you're worth $100 million or $200 million, right? Because you will hire 5 CEOs or 10 CEOs to run these businesses. That's different. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the ground level when you're just starting. Focus on one thing only. I'll tell you how much of value that is to me. I mean, when these guys asked me to come originally, this is not part of my business, right? Me coming and talking and and collaborating with entrepreneurs, right? Even just a trip for me. I remember talking to the lady at the skate park. She's like, well, can you go for 2 weeks? I was like, no. I was like, 6 days maximum. That's it. I have to focus on my business. You know? So I can't, I can send you to Africa for 6 days and about 10 or 11, whatever I ended up with. But even coming on a trip to me was defocused, to put that in perspective. So if I'm working on 2, 3, 4 projects, that is the fastest way to failure, in my opinion. I sit on a school board because it's relevant to my business, okay? It's very relevant to my core business. And we only meet once every 2 months for 4 hours.